Alright, so this is another little prereq thing that you should be able to do before coming into Calc. A little review for you. We have to do this a lot when we evaluate limits. I want to figure out if x minus 2 divides evenly into that guy right there. So I could use a long polynomial division if I want, and that takes forever. But instead, I'm going to use synthetic division, which cuts down a lot of the time. So the first thing we do is kind of draw a little division thing. And then I go and I write the coefficients for each of, so I'll write the 3, the 6, the 5, make sure you do the negatives there, and the 10. The one thing you want to notice here is that there is no x cubed term, so I'm going to do or no x squared term, so I'm going to have a 0x squared. So this 0 is also going to show up in what I'm going to draw down here. So I start with the x to the 4th, which is 3. Then I write the negatives. Oh, come on now. Then I write the negative 6. Hold on, negative 6. Then 0, then negative 5, then 10. Carry this out. So the next thing I do is I change the sign of that guy. So it's currently a negative 2, so I'm going to go and change it to a positive 2. If it was something like x plus 5, then I would change it to minus 5. Now I draw a line like this, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of start this process of the synthetic division. First thing we do is, I'll actually change colors. We'll go there. So I bring this guy down. That gives me a 3. Your first step is always to bring that guy down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3 and multiply it by the 2. That gives me 6, and that number goes right here. And then I kind of just repeat that process over and over and over again. I add these two, the negative 6 and the 6, to get 0. Now I multiply 0, so I'm going to multiply 0 by 2. Write that number here, it's 0. Now I'm going to add again. So I get 0 plus 0 is 0. Now I multiply, so I get 0 times 2, which is also 0 again. So lots of zeros in this example. Now here's where I'm not going to get a 0, I guess. When I add these guys, I get a negative 5. So these two right here. And then I multiply negative 5 by the 2. That gives me negative 10. Now I add, so I get 0. This is the key right here. If this final number is 0, then that means that I have a remainder of 0. What I do is I take the numbers that I got, so the 3, the 0, the 0, and the negative 5, and they become my coefficients for my x's. So I was at an x to the 4th, I was dividing by an x, so my first power is going to be x cubed. So that gives me 3x cubed plus 0x squared, right? So that guy, I'm not going to write 0x squared, actually, plus 0x squared plus 0x, so that's from this guy, and then minus 5. We wouldn't actually write it like that because it doesn't really do much for us. We don't want to have all that extra stuff. So what I would really write is 3x cubed minus 5. Now, I have no remainder because of this guy being 0. If that was like a 7 or something like that, then I would have a remainder of 7, and that would mean that it wouldn't evenly divide. But with this particular example, it would divide in. So if I was looking at the limit as x approaches 2 of this guy, this whole big fraction, then I could now plug 2 into 3x cubed minus 5 and get an answer. So that's where synthetic division helps us out. Hopefully you're good with that.